guys, and welcome to another video on the channel. So today's video, I'm going to be introducing you and taking you on a quick drive in the new car that I previously mentioned, I think in the garage tour video. So this is a pretty long awaited car for me. It's a 2021 Honda Civic Type R Limited Edition. What the Limited Edition is, it's a little bit lighter, but the biggest change is that it comes in the iconic Phoenix Yellow, which is a famous Type R color. And in Canada, where I live, we were lucky enough to get 100 allocations. They're relatively low numbers. I think it's either like 1,100 or around 1,000 units globally. So it was pretty cool to hear that Canada was getting 100. And in Canada, we did a pre-order system, and I was lucky enough to basically snag one of the first 100. So my badge number is number 30 out of 100. But yeah, so let's go for a quick drive. So for those that are new to the channel, I own a 2004 Honda S2000. Don't worry, that car is actually still here. I didn't sell it to get this car, although it probably would have made more financial sense to do that. Funny enough, this car, when it was announced, I didn't own the S2000 yet. A friend of mine posted it on his Instagram story saying that they were making it in Phoenix Yellow and that it was coming to Canada. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So he actually contacted a dealer because he already owned a Honda Civic Type R, and he contacted a dealer and he let me know, hey, if you're actually serious, you can put a deposit down to basically potentially hold a spot for one. For those that know, and like I previously mentioned, in Canada, it obviously didn't go that route. We basically had to go through pre-order, which was kind of interesting. It was online. I like to think of myself as generally being a pretty unlucky person when it comes to, I guess, potentially winning things or getting things kind of in time for a pre-order. But I happened to be lucky enough to be one of the first 100 to get their car. So for me, originally, I put my deposit down for this car at a dealership. And that was, I think, back in November of, not November, or maybe it was late winter of 2019. Or I'll kind of probably, I'll put a little description on, or a little title on when that actually was, when this car was announced, and I put the deposit down. But at the time, I didn't own the S2000. I actually had basically moved down to Calgary with my wife. We had been recently married. I owned a Subaru Legacy GT wagon before that, kind of as a daily project car. But I sold that because it was kind of getting higher in mileage. It also had some rust issues. And we only had one parking spot at my condo that I own in Calgary. So it didn't really make a lot of sense to me to pay extra money to get parking for a car that I knew I wasn't really too keen to own anymore. So that's basically why I sold the Legacy. We basically spent like the first little while there just sharing her car, which is a 2008 Honda CR-V. But ultimately, you know, as most car guys know, the itch comes, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of need something for myself. So I ended up looking for a car. I found basically an S2000 for sale locally, and I previously had owned several Hondas. So kind of basically coming from Honda Civics, the S2000 was always kind of an aspirational car, almost that next natural step. So there was a car locally that I saw that, you know, it seemed like it was a pretty good deal. And I told myself, okay, I'll keep an eye on it. It had a few subtle mods, things like lowering springs and S2000 Spec T37s. So I kept an eye on that car. It was kind of towards the end of summer. And then as the fall hit, I noticed that car was still up for sale. And lo and behold, went to go check the car out. It was actually surprisingly clean despite the mileage. And I ended up kind of talking to the guy about pricing, you know, the history of the car, etc. And we landed on a number. So I sent him a deposit, and he was kind enough to basically have the car stored for me until the spring, so I didn't have to pay anything additional to store a car over the winter that I wasn't going to be driving anyways. So that was really nice of him. Then this pre-order gets announced, and I was kind of going back and forth. Oh, okay, do I want to do this? Also, I was considering first generation Acura NSXs, which was kind of stretching my budget, but that has always been a dream car of mine. There was one that I saw out east in Toronto that I thought, oh, maybe this is the one. It was relatively within budget. It sounded good in the advertisement, but lo and behold, after I got an inspection done, it wasn't the case. There was actually quite a bit wrong with the car, and I would have to end up spending quite a bit more money than I was really looking to. So that kind of got away. Then I told myself, okay, you know what, let's focus on the S2000. For me, the intent was buy the S2000 until I can get this car. I knew that the S2000s were holding their value or rising up in value. So I told myself, I figured, okay, when I receive the Type R, worst case scenario, I can sell the S2000 for the same price I bought it for, and maybe at a bit of a discount. On the plus side, I could potentially make a little bit of money off the sale of that car. So that was kind of the idea that I had, and I bought the S2000 back in March of 2020. As you all know, COVID happened. Still ongoing right now, currently here in Alberta, Canada. But the other thing that I didn't know was how much I would end up falling in love with the S2000. I was kind of in a little bit of a pickle because I had gotten the pre-order for this car. I believe the pre-order was back in May of 2020, and I was like, well, at that point I had only owned the S2000 for a little bit, so I really liked the car, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like completely head over heels for it yet. But lo and behold, that summer I drove it, basically did my first couple of track days with the car as well too, and that kind of just changed everything. I'd gotten told by a lot of people, hey, you know, with that car, you should really take it out to the track. I did, and this hobby of cars that's already expensive basically got more expensive. But that was okay. That's something I looked really forward to, and now I'm going to be trying to, you know, basically allocate some budget to doing that every single year to basically improve myself as a driver, and also kind of improve my car and make noticeable gains in terms of the modifications that I'm doing to the car. So kind of rewind more recently, kind of towards the end of March, I've been kind of in touch with the dealer that I had this car ordered to. Here and there, most of the time it was, hey, sorry, we don't have any news. But kind of the couple of times I did hear news, it was that the pandemic had delayed scheduling in terms of production, so they weren't 100% sure when I was going to get the car. Then come end of March in 2021, I get a text message, and it's a picture of this car. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe my salesperson's trolling me or something and sent me a picture of a different car. But lo and behold, it was this one. They had received it. They had actually gotten a call earlier that day saying that the car was gonna be delivered, but my dealer interpreted that as, oh, it's on its way, aka it's on a rail car coming to basically Lloydminster, which is where the dealership was. But it showed up that day. So I made the arrangements to go out to the dealership, get the paperwork done, and I live in Calgary, which is a 5-hour drive from Lloydminster. I was looking into, you know, basically getting a truck and trailer to tow the car here, but there was a lot of things that I was struggling with. The truck that I had access to, which is my dad's, it could have towed this car in an enclosed trailer, because obviously it being brand new and it being a limited edition, I didn't want to risk having any paint chips or anything like that from towing it on an open trailer. But lo and behold, the dealer ended up pulling through, and they found a transport company for me that was able to ship it down to Calgary for relatively cheap. So great, I don't have to spend essentially 10-11 hours out of my day in gas money, etc., all the costs that incurred with towing to go to Lloydminster, pick this car up and bring it back down to Calgary. So I've had this car basically, I think there were a couple shipping delays because we got some crazy weather during that time, but I got the car, I want to say like maybe 2.5 weeks after, so probably mid-April was when I actually ended up receiving the car. I got the car delivered straight to my buddy's shop. If you're in the Calgary area and you need detailing, PPF, tint, work done on your car, feel free to go to them, Kimbros, and I sent the car directly to them because I knew I wanted to have the car protected. This car comes stock with Michelin Cup 2 tires, so really sticky tires, pretty much track tires. And from everything that I'd heard online is that these tires love to throw rocks, and the last thing I wanted to do was get this car and just have a riddle of rock chips all over the side of the car because I didn't have it protected. So I sent it to my buddies at Kimbros. They basically hooked the entire car up with Expel Ultimate full car protection. So this car is ready to go. It's protected. For those that you don't know, my S2000 had the same treatment by them. If you have a car that has pretty good paint, I would highly recommend doing that because it just takes that worry and stress out from driving your car. So now I'm in the break-in process. I haven't been able to drive the car terribly too much with the pandemic going on. I'm working from home, as probably a lot of other people are as well too. So I only get I drive this car kind of at opportunities that I get a chance to take. So that's sometimes during my lunch break, sometimes right after work, sometimes in the evening when the weather's nice. My wife and I, we actually had just bought a new house and had taken it possession basically around the same time that this car came in. So I've been busy with that as well too, sorting the new house down, getting furniture, etc. Just a lot of new house things. So I haven't been able to drive the car as much as I want to. So according to Honda, in the instruction manual, they recommend taking it easy on the car for the first 1,000 kilometers. So no full-on acceleration, no hard boost, etc. I know there's people that think, hard braking is the way to go, but for me, I don't know, call me by the book or whatever, but if Honda says it, I might as well follow it. I'll just take it easy for the first 1,000 kilometers and then I can fully enjoy the car. It's currently sitting at, for the time of this video, 674 kilometers. So I'm past halfway there. It's been a long journey, but hopefully we'll get there soon. Maybe towards the end of this week or maybe next week we'll hit that 1,000 and I'll be able to fully experience this car. So basically when that happens, I expect to kind of basically give my rundown and my thoughts on this car compared to my S2000. Obviously they're very different cars, but they're both performance-oriented Honda, so I think it would be kind of cool to see how the cars differ. Already I noticed a lot of things, but I'll kind of cover those details in that video that I make later. I guess touching on what I'm going to be doing with this car, I honestly don't know. A lot of people have been telling me to sell it because these cars, they were all sold out and some people are flipping them, etc. That is an option, but I don't really want to sell the car yet. I want to be able to drive the car, fully enjoy it, etc. I'd really love to take this car out to the track to see how capable it is, especially in comparison to my S2000, which I always joke is really slow, but it's a car that rewards you, but it demands a lot of effort, whereas this car almost feels a little bit of the opposite. So it'll be interesting to see how it does there. And honestly, just living with the car, I know a lot of people who have Type Rs that love these as like summer daily drivers. So I want to see that and experience that just to see how it feels. So this car, in order to kind of prevent myself from being really dumb and voiding the warranty and modifying the car, etc., I actually did spend a little bit of money getting the extended warranty on this car. So I believe it's a 7-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. The one thing I will be changing is wheels and tires. So just like the other Civic Type Rs, this comes on 20-inch wheels, which I think is just huge. I've done my research, and from what I've read and heard, it's that Honda basically chose these giant wheels with really skinny sidewall tires just to have very good steering feel and response, which I can get. But honestly, for daily driving and in Alberta, we don't have the greatest roads. So I am looking to basically replace those. I already actually have new wheels and tires, so that'll be an upcoming video as well too. I'll probably get that on soon, hopefully. And it'll be interesting to see kind of how the car is different just even off of that change. So I'm going to 18-inch wheels. So obviously the tires are going to be having a thicker sidewall. The stock tires are 245. I'm going to be stepping up to a 255 width. I don't plan on feeling more traction, because obviously these Cup 2R tires are track tires essentially, and I'm not getting track tires. I wanted to get more everyday tires. These tires, I thought about just running them until the tires are basically completely worn, and then looking at getting a new set of wheels and tires. But the replacement cost for these tires is something like $2,800 or $3,000 just for the tires, and that's in Canadian. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money I don't really want to spend. So I'll probably just drive the car a little bit more on the current set of factory BBS wheels and Cup 2 tires, and then take them off and swap them on for the 18s. So yeah, so hopefully this gives you a little bit of an insight on the new member to my garage. I'll try to make a few videos about the car, because I'm sure there's probably some interest in it, and it'll be kind of a nice change having some different content from the S2000. So yeah, so be sure to keep your eye out for those videos, and like always, thank you for watching. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below, and feel free to give a like or subscribe to the channel for more content on this car and also my S2000. Thanks for watching.